So welcome to our first class of this cycle. We're going to start doing these sessions once a month, and we're going to be focusing on team coaching. So the goal that we have in these meetings is once a month to get together to learn and discuss and explore topics around team coaching. So we're going to have different topics, we're going to have different guests presenting. Probably some of you are going to be the presenters. So I can see Inga, and usually you're working on your team credentials. I just learned that Elena in Portugal also has experience as a team coach. Melissa has some experience. So people who have some experience are going to be invited to come and present on your experiences. So is it going to be interactive? Maybe eventually we may get CCUs. We'll see how we create the space. It's also a space for the graduates from the team coaching programs. So we started offering the team coaching seminar last month in March. We have the first team coaching program. And we're going to offer the next one in June. And the first one in March was a pilot just to try different things. And what I learned in the pilot is that the hours were not enough for the program, and that we needed more time, more hours, going deeper. The evaluation from the participants are really very good, very positive. So even though I got really great feedback from the participants, going through the program, I realized we need to make it longer and more going deeper in the issues presented. So instead of being 3 days, we're going to be doing that in June, starting in June every other Tuesday for 4 hours at a time. So I already got from ICF 36 CCUs for the 36 hours of webinars. And then we're going to have also reading much more than what we had for the first one, and writing reports. And people may get some credit for the first program if people want to do the whole credential. That is 60 hours, because ICF requires 60 hours to get to apply for the credential. So I want to offer the 60 hours for people who are interested in getting that credential. So basically, we already have the CCUs, and ICF doesn't provide more than 40 CCUs for any programs. So we got 36 for this one, 32 core competencies and 4 resource development. And you will get the invitation starting in June. So this program, even though it was open, most of the people who are here are graduates from my programs, coaching and supervision programs. So welcome to the people who went through the team coaching program, who had been in my coaching and supervision programs. If you want to say very fast your name, because we are building a community here of people interested in this topic. So if you want to say your name and where you're calling from, because we're going to be doing different activities and exercises. So this is going to be an opportunity also to build relationships. And we were talking with Gigi and Sylvia, who work for the LA County Health Department, and we're talking with Gigi that maybe she's going to be asking some of the participants of the program who have experience in team coaching to come and maybe support the team. So in that way, there are going to be other opportunities for other organizations too. Like I was talking to UNICEF, that I work, and they're also interested in getting some team coaches coming and helping. So we also want to create opportunities to learn and provide a service. Let's go around. Since I mentioned Sylvia and Gigi, do you want to start saying your name and where you're calling from?
Sure. My name is Sylvia Shin. I work for, as Damian said, I work for LA County Public Health Department. It is a fairly large department of 4,000 people, but now we have much more than that because we have brought in a lot of temporary workers and whatnot for COVID response. So we have probably 6,000 or more, but yeah, it's fluctuating. And Gigi and I, we work together in the same office, and my office is a division of organizational development and training. So which means that we're in charge of developing and training the workforce in the department. And in the department, we have a variety of professionals, including physicians, nurses, health educators, epidemiologists, admin folks, program managers, and all the different professionals. And I'm a nurse by background. And we brought in Damian to do coach training, was it 2 years ago? Oh my goodness, 3 years ago. it's been a while. So we have a handful of coaches, well, maybe 19 coaches that we have trained along with myself. I was one of the coaches. So I got certified not too long ago, actually, with ACC. So thank goodness for that. And it's been a great experience. I just fell in love with coaching. So thanks to Gigi and Damian. So I'll pass on to Gigi to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gigi. As Sylvia said, I work with Sylvia at the Department of Public Health. And I think Damian said to let you guys know where we're from. So LA, but specifically I live in South Pasadena. So San Gabriel Valley folks, we did meet up and started to have that, being in that part of that community. Thank you. Glad to be here.
I live in Pasadena as well.
Want to go next briefly? We need to do briefly the presentations because if not, we can spend a long time here talking about.
Hi, this is Anushli from Sri Lanka, a tiny island. And I got introduced to Damian first through my coaching supervision training, which was wonderful. And that inspired me to sign up for the team coaching. And here I am looking forward to learn. Nice to see all of you.
Great to have you, Anushli. I think that you're the one who is the farthest geographically to me in Los Angeles. Great to have you here.
Okay, I can say I'm Helena. I'm from Portugal. We live. I'm married with Antonio. He's also Portuguese. We live in. We were living in Lisbon, and in the pandemics, we moved to Setúbal, a city near Lisbon with mountain and sea. It's very beautiful. I have more than 10,000 hours of coaching. I have a great experience because I was an internal coaching, working 100% of my time with coaching. After that, I decided I want to be a mentor coach and supervisor. And I thanks very much Damian because he was my master in this upgrades to my career. I'm also master practitioner.
Okay. We want to make it shorter, so we go around, and okay. So that's great. That's enough to know. It's great to have you here. And she's a supervisor. She's a graduate supervisor too. And she's with Antonia, with her husband. Antonia, do you want to say hi? We cannot hear you for some reason. Your microphone is not working.
I can jump in. I'll go next. Elaine Padilla. I live in South Pasadena.
Can you hear me now?
And Sylvia.
Yes.
Started with Damian's coaching program in 2014. I've done team coaching, supervision program, and I'm excited just to continue to learn and grow and build community.
Great to have you here, Elaine. So we say we should meet once in Pasadena together. Go ahead, Antonio.
Quite briefly, as Maria Elena said, I am married to her happily, and I am a PCC by ICF and a senior practitioner by EMCC, and I have been doing some team coaching with one company and one ONG, and I'm here to learn. I'm familiar with Damian's work and quite admire it, so here to learn.
Great to have you here, Antonio. Who wanna go next? Yes, Inga.
Go next. Hi, I'm Inga. I'm Polish, but I live in California now, so in the same time zone as Damian, but far away because in Silicon Valley. I've known Damian since I think 2014. I did mentor coach training with him, and Lily was a participant then. And then I did supervision training with Damian. So because of him, I'm a mentor coach, I'm a supervisor as well. And I just applied for the STEAM coaching supervision certificate as well. And I'm looking forward to learn how hard the exam was at the end of today's session. So I'm happy to be here as well.
Yeah, so I offered initially to Inga if you want to stay later to learn more about the exam, the team coaching exam, if you want to stay. Okay, who wanna go next?
I'll go real quick. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Severance. So I was at Damian's, one of his cohorts for USC coaching, and I just did the team coaching program that he just did as well too. I'm over on the East Coast. I was in Philadelphia, and the last year I moved to Naples, Florida. So still on the East Coast.
Welcome, Melissa. Who are we missing? Jonas, you wanna go next?
Sure, Jonas Cartano. I'm in New York City. I work in the arts and culture sector, and I just received my ACC, and I am curious about team coaching. So that's
great. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of the new colleagues who got their credentials. Jonas, we have Celia. Great to have you here. Alfonso, do you want to say hi? You're on mute. We cannot hear you. Some technology not helping today. And I wanted you to get to know each other because we're going to be working together. We're going to, it's not a lecture here. I'm not going to be doing a class. We're going to be learning together. So that's the reason it's important that we know who is here. And then we meet every month. So you already have a consistency between people coming and building relationships. You want to try again, Alfonso?
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, yes.
All right, so I'm trying to get in, so my apologies. So my name is Al Cobb. I am a doctoral candidate at USC. Hopefully I will be graduating in about a month. And I am also a part of Dr. Goldvarg's USC coaching program as well. So I'm pleased to be here. And again, sorry I'm late. Happy to meet you all.
Great to have you here. Gerardo from Uruguay. I don't know what is farther away, if Sri Lanka or Uruguay, but they are close.
Hello, Uruguay in South America. For the people who don't know, I am Argentinian. I live in Uruguay. I don't know Damian Goldvarg. I never knew him. I'm here for the first time. We have worked together about 14 years or more or less, and he introduced me on what it was coaching, global coaching with ICF, and we made courses, and I learned the competencies, and I certified as a mentor, and I certified as supervisor, and I am president of the fans club.
Welcome, Gerardo. Gerardo opened the ICF chapter in Uruguay, and I went to support him to create that chapter many years ago.
And coordinating the region also.
Yes.
It was a great job that you inspire all of us to make what ICF is today. So that's all.
Thank you, Gerardo, for being here. And we have Lale, but she's off the camera now. She may join us. And we also...
Hey, Damian, I'm here.
Yes, Jason. Yes, before you were moving, so I was kind of...
Sorry, I know.
Great to have you here.
Thank you. Yes, technical difficulties leading to having to take the dog out a few minutes late. I'm Jason Rabineau. It's nice to be here. I'm in Austin, Texas right now. I did my original training with Damian a few years ago and just completed the team coaching training. So thanks for having me here.
Great to have you. You have such a cool background, Jason. Really,
this is just my, this is my spring home that I come to on weekends. Yes.
That's great. Lele, do you want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Lale. I'll say hi quickly. I'm in LA near Pasadena, and I am a physician, and I am in Damian's current cohort number 9. I'm very excited, and I'm at USC, so just glad to be here and be part of this wonderful team. Thank you.
Great to have you here. So let's jump into do some work. I chose the topic psychological safety because this is one of the issues that I am seeing currently in my work as a team coach. So I was doing some research. I want to recommend there is a book from Amy Edmondson. She wrote a couple of books. I have it in my other table. I will bring it in a minute. And I am really, I think it's important for all of us to explore that topic and to be able to have different distinctions and ideas and concepts that we can use. So basically, this is based on one of my clients. It's a big global organization, and there are many issues around psychological safety. So, and let's define what is psychological safety. So we're going to do a case study. I'm going to share with you a couple of videos. We're going to define what is psychological safety, and then you're going to work in small groups, and you're going to imagine that you are being hired as a team coach to work with an organization. And here we have people who are very experienced team coaches, people who went through the program, and people who do not know anything about team coaching. So that's great. We're all going to be learning from each other. Are you all ready to do some work? Okay, cool. So what is psychological safety? So there are different ways to look at psychological safety, but one of the ways to look at it is when you feel safe enough in a team to speak your mind, to be able to speak and to share your ideas, your beliefs, and you are not afraid that people are going to judge you negatively. So if you feel psychologically safe, you feel comfortable sharing what is in your mind without fear of people judging you, that you don't have the competencies or being incompetent, that you don't have good common sense, that, or that you don't make sense what you're saying. And the idea is that when psychological safety is present, teams are much more effective. And when psychological safety is not present, when people don't feel safe, then they don't speak. And as a result of that, teams lose effectiveness. And sometimes, like in hospital, like Amy Edmondson, she was working in the healthcare industry, and she realized that nurses, because they were afraid of the doctors and the authority of the physicians, and we have one physician and we nurse here. And so, by the way, all of the literature, Silvia, I don't know how familiar you are, but I think it's important literature about psychological safety, because we go hand in hand with the just culture philosophy of being able to speak up. Because then speaking up about mistakes is one of the things that many times does not happen in the healthcare context. So the idea is that she was sharing an experience with a nurse that she thought that the medication that the doctor recommended was not right, but she didn't speak up. And she put the client at risk because she didn't do it. Now, at the end, nothing happened. At the end, the patient was okay, but the patient could have died because of the bad mistake that the physician had done, that the nurse catch up, but because it was not psychological safety, she didn't say anything. But I don't know how many of you heard about this plane that was a new person also, like in this plane, and he realized that something was wrong, and he didn't speak up, but or he said something that was not. No, I don't think the case was he didn't say anything, but he realized that something was wrong, and then when he spoke up, was too late. You know, he said, "Oh, I knew that. I was wondering about that, but I was new." And then by the time that he shared that he already knew that something was wrong, but he didn't say anything because he didn't feel that he was trusting the authority in that plane, didn't say anything. As a result of that, they have a crash. So the idea is that how we as team coaches can create that psychological safety if it's not there. Or the question is, can we work as team coaches if the psychological safety is not there? So this is the discussion and exploration today. How we diagnose for psychological safety and how we intervene when there is no psychological safety. So let's start with a short video, 8 minutes. And I think this is a really nice, I was doing some research and I was watching a lot of videos at YouTube to see which one I really like for training. And this is my favorite one after spending a few hours watching a lot of different videos. So I'm going to share with you. So you want to take some notes, because then you're going to go to a small room to discuss this video. So pay attention and take note of the main ideas and the main concepts. And we are going to. Okay, so first, before I share like a longer one, I want to share you to meet Amy Edmondson, because she got very famous for her contribution on the topic. So she is considered probably one of the most important authors on this topic. So let's start with her for 3 minutes, and then I will share another one, and then we will discuss in small groups.
One of the most important factors in delivering safe and effective care is psychological safety. Allow me to define that as a belief that the workplace is safe for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, and even mistakes. And it's a sense of confidence that your voice is valued. You can think of this as a sense of permission for candor, that the workplace is somewhere where we count on your voice being heard, because you never know when you will have had the observation that someone else missed that will be mission critical to delivering safe, high quality care. Now, I want to be clear that psychological safety is not about being nice. It's not about holding back on something you think might be unpleasant. In fact, quite the opposite. It's about candor. It's also, of course, not freedom from conflict. When you're in a psychologically safe workplace, there will be conflict. People will have different points of view, and we'll get into it, and we'll seek to understand each other's views better and come out with a better solution. Psychological safety and a psychologically safe workplace doesn't mean that all of your ideas will be applauded. And it's certainly not permission to slack off. It's not a license to whine. It's not oversharing. We still want people to be thoughtful and considerate in sharing work relevant content. And important to mention, psychological safety isn't the goal. Psychological safety is a means to the goal, and that goal is excellence. That goal is commitment to high quality care. So it's important to recognize that for really high quality care, you need not just psychological safety, you also need urgency and commitment to excellence. If you don't have either psychological safety or a commitment to excellence, then you are working what I call the apathy zone, where your heart isn't in it, you don't much like your colleagues, and you're just not giving the work what you could give it. And certainly if all you had was psychological safety and no commitment to excellence, then you'd be in what we call the comfort zone, where it's quite a relaxed state of affairs. I know that that's not characterizing care delivery today. However, this is the one that worries me. When your commitment to excellence and your sense of urgency are high, but psychological safety is low, I call that the interpersonal anxiety zone, where your commitment to excellence is thwarted by not feeling that your voice is welcome. So finally, if you have both psychological safety and a commitment to excellence, that's the learning zone, that's the high performance zone. That's where problems get solved day in and day out, especially in healthcare delivery.
Okay, interesting, isn't it? She's pretty clear. See, I explained that you hear in her own voice, and then this is the book that you're going to be hear me talking about in the next few months, because this is what I see in my work with my client. People are afraid. There is fear in organizations. You know, look at people who are internal here. We have a few people who are internal. Melissa, you work in HR for many years, and you know you're now external, but I'm sure you see that fear in organizations.
Who's the author? Oh, Edmondson. Oh, that's
the author is Amy Edmondson.
Okay, thank you.
Highly recommend this book. I think it's important, particularly for the climate that we are today. This is
in the chat 2 articles by Amy from Harvard Business Review. If you want to like a starter kit, this book is great. Yeah, but just see if it relates to you somehow, because a lot of organizations, I don't know, Damian, if you have similar feeling, they think that psychological safety is being nice to each other. That's the biggest.
Yeah, okay, that's the reason why she explained that. Do you see that? That she said that this is not about being nice to each other, it's about having candor. It's about being willing to take risks, because you, and that's not being nice. Sometimes when you're taking risks, you're not necessarily being nice. So thank you, Inga, for clarifying that. She said that, but she all the time wants to clarify that, because that's one of the misunderstandings. But what is interesting is this anxiety place, people having anxiety, being afraid of speaking up, being afraid at work of making mistakes. So how we can support leaders in our coaching, when we are coaching leaders one-on-one, or when we're coaching leaders in teams, to create this psychological safety. That's important. Any other reactions from this? Inga, do you have these articles? Is something that you can share by chance?
Yeah, I put them in the chat. I put two
Thank you,
articles
Inga.
from
That's
Harvard
great.
Business Review about that, both written by Amy, and they're pretty informative, I think, from the beginning. Yeah, somehow.
That's great. Thank you. I don't have them, so that would be great to have them.
There is one thing which comes to my mind connected with this interpersonal anxiety zone, and I try to recall who said that, but there are two kinds of anxiety in the organization. When you've got front stabbing, when people are openly aggressive towards each other and mean and so on, and you've got backstabbing that on the surface, it looks great, but we really negatively comment people action on the side with the third parties. And I try to recall, if it resonates with you or you heard it somewhere, I try to recall who said that, because there are different actions for coaches then when there is aggressive openness with aggressive behavior towards each other, that we know that we are hard and so on, and front stabbing, and there are different actions when there is a backstabbing and everything seems okay on the surface, but inside there are a lot of problems. So,
I have never heard that, but that's a really good distinction.
not mine, I'm not the author, I'm sorry. I read it somewhere, but I don't know who said that, yeah, and when I get it from.
Okay, so let's go to the next video I want to share with you. Let's explain what is psychological safety. I really like this video, and there are a few distinctions, and then we're going to go to small groups. So pay attention, you may want to take some notes here, okay?
In 2015, Google published a 2-year study which explained how to make great teams. There were 5 major dynamics: psychological safety, dependability, structure and clarity, meaning, and impact. Among them, psychological safety stood out the most. Harvard Business School professor Amy Edmondson coined the term psychological safety. According to Edmondson, psychological safety is a belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. Do you think your workplace is psychologically safe? Are your meetings silent, or people interact and ask questions? Does the team bounce off ideas, call for action, or solve problems? Or are they quiet and no one voices their opinions? In this video, we are going to discuss psychological safety and how it is essential. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Psychological safety is a zone which allows the members of the team to share their belief, admit mistakes, and be curious without being exposed to interpersonal and social derision. Interpersonal threats prove to be a great hurdle for innovative ideas and developing capabilities. These threats can be directed to the person as incompetent, ignorant, or disruptive. Research shows that such environments stop creativity, talent, skills, and active learning in the workplaces. So why psychological safety is important? Psychological safety is significant in all aspects of the workplace. It is the foundation of a high-performing team. Psychological safety enables better companies' growth, faster adoption of market trends and technologies. It is beneficial to be aware of your employees' shortcomings in a psychologically safe environment, so you can detect problems early. This way, your company will not suffer some catastrophic risks as many people are feeling unsafe in the environment. and thus given terrible work input. Psychological safety in workplaces also helps in bonding and quality teamwork. The individuals are respectful of others' struggles and help them to find a solution. Psychological safety allows the team members to safely express their feelings of vulnerability and lack of knowledge. The team members show mutual trust, respect, and interest in each other. They do not attack the personality, character, knowledge, or competence of other members. They shouldn't argue with any person over holding different opinions and expressing them. But how to introduce psychological safety in the workplace? Up till now, you have understood that psychological safety is an important factor for organizational and personal growth. So what measures could ensure that your workplace is psychologically safe? First, encourage listening. The leaders should encourage active listening. Listen to other people's perspective, concepts, ideas, thoughts, and interpret them. Give feedback after listening, and ask some questions to encourage the speaker to share further. Second, develop and change mindset. We all have a developed mindset. We just need to change our mindset. Make a conscious effort to judge less and learn more every day. Psychological safety will make sure that people respond to others' input with kindness instead of sarcasm or ridicule. Moreover, criticism should be taken as feedback, and the people should work on their weaker areas. Set your example. The leaders should set up effective examples to introduce psychological safety in the workplace. They should make inclusive decisions, ask the shy ones to speak their opinions, and constantly ask for feedback. The best thing is that the leaders accept their mistakes and respect the different opinions of people. They also should be more approachable, so the employees could ask questions without feeling intimidated. Create the environment. The leader has to create a psychologically safe environment. They should ensure that no one judges other people. They do not interrupt or try to change each other's opinion. Everyone should be accepted, and problems should not be blamed on any person. They have to fight against the mistakes and problems instead of fighting with each other. Acknowledge others. Everyone needs acknowledgement of their work and ideas to feel psychologically safe. The leaders and team members should encourage listening to crazy ideas and suggestions. They should also provide positive feedback for good tasks to create better relations. One last important element to take into consideration when introducing psychological safety is to measure it. As a leader, you can periodically ask your team how safe they feel and what could enhance their feeling of safety. You can create anonymous surveys on psychological safety and other team dynamics and ask people to answer these. Some teams at Google include questions such as, how confident are you that you won't receive retaliation or criticism if you admit an error or make a mistake? If you create this sense of psychological safety on your own team starting now, you can expect to see higher levels of engagement, increased motivation to tackle difficult problems, more learning and development opportunities, and of course, a better performance. Building a high-trust team is a journey. It begins with the leader being really clear on what behaviors are required to improve team performance. Leaders who have the skills to not only creating a mentally healthy and supportive environment, but who are not afraid to push people out of their comfort zones. Of course, this takes time and commitment. Stick with it, and you'll have a powerful group of collaborators who work together for the good of the team, even during tough times. That's our wrap of psychological safety. Does your workplace ensure psychological safety? Let us know in the comments below. And
Okay, isn't this video really good? Very clear, explaining it, providing some suggestions about what to do. We're going to go to small groups, and I have 2 tasks for you. One task is to share what is your personal experience with psychological safety. Now we're going to have a small group of 3 people, so like an intimate group. So you may share what have you seen it or not seen it in your work environment with your clients. So you want to share a little bit of your personal experience.
We can speak between coaches also. What happens between coaches?
Okay.
Because I believe that we have to begin for us, and you know that there are some groups that we are not have psychological safety, and it's great what you're offering today. So I just thought on that, and I will speak about that.
Yes, you can speak about that. That's okay. So I am putting people together in team where I mix people with experience with people with no experience. So let's spend 15 minutes. And in this
Damian,
15,
please,
yes.
can you say again, share your experience?
Okay, so 2 things we're going to do. One thing, share your experiences with psychological safety, where you have seen it or not. You can talk about anything you want. And I want everybody, you're going to have 3 or 4 people per group to talk about that briefly, like for a couple of minutes, like 6 minutes, let's say. And then the other 6 or 7 minutes, I have a task for you. And your task is, if you will go to an organization and they will tell you, okay, we don't feel there is an issue with psychological safety. They are not going to use that because they don't know what psychological safety, but they may tell you people don't trust each other. People are not speaking up. People are not contributing. If they're telling you that, what questions as a team coach you may ask to learn about and to measure psychological safety? Okay, so it's for you. What questions will you ask to measure psychological safety? Is that clear what we are doing? So the idea is that by the end of the session today, you all leave here with a question and with some questions you may ask. This is not like a research-based survey, but it's about questions that you may ask to help you to assess and to discuss psychological safety in teams. Okay, so you have 15 minutes. I will see you back in 15 minutes. Okay, welcome back. So let's hear some of your questions. What questions do you come up with that you think you will be asking? And if you have by chance the possibility to post them in the chat room, would be great. And then we will discuss them, and then we will go. I will present the case, and we'll work with the case. It's a real one. So yeah, I think that's many people plan for 1 hour only, and this is 90 minutes. Yeah, we don't have, sometimes 1 hour goes so fast that we don't have enough time to do work. So I know that some people think that they need to go. So I'm sorry about that, but the people who are staying, let's keep working. So who would like to go first?
Well, suggest that we stick to 90 minutes because 1 hour might be too little as well.
Yeah,
Even if you ask that now.
Yeah, no, we're going to keep 1 hour and a half. Yes, I agree with you. Particularly for this work, like working with teams and team topics and team experiences take sometimes longer. So let's hear some of the questions. Who would like to start? Go ahead, Inga, and then Silvia.
I can share. I actually share my experience of, I don't like asking questions about trust and psychological safety at the discovery phase at all, because usually people tell me either what they believe in or something they want me to believe in. Yeah. So I prefer asking, okay, I do 2 kinds of discovery phases. One kind of discovery phase is then I do interview with everybody separately for like 45 minutes to an hour. Leaders sometimes and sponsors have more time, but generally in this interview, I like to ask this question. Okay, so what happens in a team when somebody succeeds? Like, and I learn a lot. Do they celebrate, or maybe they move to the next task, or do they talk, or do they learn from the success? And then I ask, so what happens in a team if somebody fails in a team, if there is a failure or problem or challenge? And as well, I learned a lot. Of course, that it's based on the follow-up questions. Yeah, like, okay, so Is it like, do you have retrospective around that? Or do you learn from this? What are the next step? Or if I sense that there is some kind of blame game going on, I ask as well about things connected with that. So these are two favorite questions I usually ask. And they, of course, require active listening on my side. However, my favorite way of finding out what's going on in the team is different. It's not question oriented. It's actually building the network of the team. So sometimes the discovery phase, which I offer, is the session, is the kickoff session. And after the session, we decide together if it's the place for team coaching or is it the place for training or team building or something. And in the session, I invite the people to create the network, how they see the team. I even put this exercise, Damian, in the cohort 1 toolbox, that I invite the people to like draw themselves somewhere and draw the line of connection in between team members, but I invite them to draw the line of the connection. Like, for example, draw the line if you cooperate with these people on some project, or you have talks daily, or you drink coffee daily, or you go to the gym together. So we see later where are the heaviest relationships in between team members. And then when you've got this visual representation of the team as a network, I can ask them, okay, so what is possible in the team like that? If you see that these are the patterns of communication, so what is possible?
That's a great question. And another way to ask about trust is about relationships. How are the relationships? Like, it's a bigger question. And even if you look in we use a book of team coaching from Clutterbuck. In the chapter on relationships is where you will find his definition of psychological safety. So for the participants of the program who got the book on team coaching from Clutterbuck, there is a chapter on relationships. And inside that, it's talking about, okay, what happened with relationship? What happened in relationship? What happened with trust? And he differentiates trust from psychological safety. He talked about, like, there are two different things. Respect, like element of that relationship. So these are all related to each other. And so there are other ways. But I think that, Inga, what you're saying, that's are great questions. What happens when somebody succeeds, when somebody fails? Doing the visual with the communication pattern is a great way to look at relationships too. Great, thank you. Should we move on? Silvia, you were next, and then Gerardo.
Sure. I met with Elaine, Lale, and Helena. We discussed a variety of things, but the questions we came up with, I'll put in the chat right now.
Okay, great. Do you want to read them?
Why am I unmuted? Why am I muted? Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So how do you express concerns and issues? And how do you clarify misunderstandings? And how do you make sure everybody's heard? And I know, Inga, you said you don't like to talk about trust at this moment, but yeah, we say, what does trust look like in this team, and what's important to build trust? So these are really fundamental questions. I feel like, Inga, you have a deeper question.
And this is also preferences. There is nothing wrong about asking about trust at the beginning. Like some coaching it's like when you ask questions at the beginning of the session, you may have your preferred questions. Here it is the same thing. You have your favorite questions, but there is nothing wrong or right about asking trust directly. But also you may have a sense how they build trust with you when you get to talk to them. Are they welcoming you? Are they resisting you? How they're relating to you as a team coach too? So you may also collect some data about the team and relationships in terms of how they relate to you as a team coach. Gerardo?
Well, we have a great conversation regarding the story of each of us. I will take the word about vulnerability, which was the interesting word that is involved in all this conversation, and the experience of doing also one with Anushka, and we also want to speak about what it was brainstorming and what you get in there. asking what is the culture of the organization. And one of the things we shared is maybe people don't want, if they are not safe, they don't want to speak. So make them right. And the question would be, which are the unspeakables of this team? Discovering that they won't say it in person, but if they make some kind of exercise, secret exercise with no name, they would write things that maybe would shoot the conversation. No?
There is a technique, Gerardo, when you were saying that, that you can do, it's one of the possible exercises that you can do in a team or in a new group, is asking everybody to write anonymously and send it to you in a piece of paper if you're in person, or in the chat room, and just to you. What are the fears? What are they afraid of? And then you read it without saying who said that. And that's a way also to normalize that anxiety and that fear that can be in the background. So that's one of the ways also that can be helpful to start bringing up some of the fears that people may have, that that you don't ask about psychological safety, you just talk about fears, and then you will get to get the sense of some of that because it's anonymous.
It could be a great dynamic, and each people can say who you think that's said that fear.
Of course.
And make them speak about what they feel. You can make very funny dynamics for the people to get comfortable and get vulnerable and share. Make a trust group.
But probably if there is no psychological safety, people are not going to be, that will have the candor even to talk, even when it's anonymous, because they still would not feel safe, because they will be wondering, okay, you know, they're going to try to guess, they will figure out that that's me, the one who's speaking, or something like that. So it's tricky. This is the reason why we're talking about that. It's not simple, so we need to pay attention to a lot of variables. So this is what makes the team coaching and different than individual coaching so interesting, that there are so many different variables in place that we need to be paying attention to. So when we're talking about that. So we have Silvia, we have Gerardo in the group with Antonio and Melissa. Who would like to share?
I was in the same group with Gerardo
okay.
and
yes, okay. Yes,
and our spokesman already spoke.
Okay, great. Any group that we're missing that we have not spoken yet?
I just have a couple. We covered most of the questions we covered, but maybe asking how are decisions made within the team, and then how are ideas generated as well, to see if there's a lot of innovation and idea sharing.
Okay, great. Good. Do you want to write them down in the chat room so people can copy and paste them so we can have them? So the idea is that when we meet again next month, we keep exploring the topic that we started today. So people may get the book or may read the article that Inga shared with us. Thank you for sharing that, Inga, so we can keep exploring. So we're going to start with a case study, and we're going to finish next time, okay? So we're going to start. So what we're going to do, and as Inga, since you are one of the most experienced one, we're going to do a role play. Are you willing to play with me? Okay. So Inga is going to be the team coach, and everybody else here, are going to be Inga's inner voice in her mind thinking. So we are going to have a dialogue, and I am going to be the client, and I am calling Inga because I want team coaching for my team, and I am the leader of the team. So I'm going to be playing a role. But we're going to imagine that this is a real one. This is a real team, okay? And we're going to have an interview about this team. And I want everybody to write down in the chat room what questions you may ask. Is that clear what we're doing here? So we're going to imagine that you are all one team coach. Inga is going to be the voice. And we're going to have a conversation, and everybody else is going to play along, is going to be writing down in the chat room what questions you may ask. Everybody ready?
Damian, do you want me to look at these questions, or you just want me to have initial conversations with you and people are writing questions?
You may want to look at the questions, yes. But you may decide to use them or not. It's up to you.
Okay. So I will have divided attention with so many.
Yes,
inner
we'll do
voices in my
multiple.
head.
It will be multiple tasking exercise. I will give you time to do that, okay? So let's start, and this is based on a real case. Okay, I was working.
Okay, so I assume that you're calling me.
Yes, I'm calling you. Hi, Inga, how are you today?
I'm fine. Hi, Damian. Great meeting you. What's the reason for this call?
Yes, I would like to bring you to my office, to my organization. We are a part of a bigger global organization. It's a not-for-profit. And in this organization, there is a culture over the years where people work really hard, but we have had some challenges between the locals and the international staff. So sometimes there are some challenges and some issues between the people who are local people and the people coming internationally. Now, the international are all of the leaders of the office. So we rotate with the leaders, but the staff, everybody else stays. So that creates a dynamic that makes it sometimes challenging. And I would like you to come to work so we can help the office. It's an office with 30 people to work more effectively. Now, I am not sure if we should start with the whole office or if we should maybe work with the management team. That is me as the leader of the office. And I have 4 people under me. So we'd like to help, maybe we can start, but the issue is that we are all internationals in this team. And the issues and the challenges are between the international and the local people. So I'm not sure, what do you think is the appropriate word here? What
Damian, before we jump into like finding solutions.
No, not for the solution, it is about the contracting. It's about subcontracting.
I am very curious because it sounds like you thought this through a lot, and I'm curious, what have you tried so far with this group before I even think that I'm the right person to you? Yeah, I'm curious, what have you done so far with this team?
Well, being honest, we have not done anything so far. No, nothing. We have not had any. We have meetings, and I observe what's happening. I observe the dynamics. And I think there is a little bit of apathy and resignation. Is that the way it is?
Okay.
I think that people think, okay, this is the culture and these dynamics happen worldwide. And this is the way the organization is. And okay, this is how it works. And okay, so people are committed. They're hard workers, but there is no resignation. They don't think that things can be different.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and as well, I assume that you called me because you heard something about what I do. And as well, I don't want to assume anything. I'm very curious, what is your initial expectation? You said that, okay, come and see and tell me what to do. But what is your initial expectation about the like services and options I can offer you?
Well, I would like you to come and help us to collaborate more effectively.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Maybe collaboration can be one way to look at it. It's like how we can be, I think that the team produce results. So it's not about problem with results. We get the results, but how we get them.
Oh, okay.
I feel that we can do better there.
So I can hear that you are effective as a team. However, it takes its toll on you as a team, this being as effective.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much people like working with each other. So that may be an issue. People don't need to be friends, but still, I'm wondering something can be done. Maybe you can use some of your expertise to make some changes.
I mean, without committing to anything, is it okay if I tell you how I usually initiate this kind of conversations, and then you can, I don't know, go back to your team or think by yourself and think what will work for you? Is it okay if I share some ideas?
I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that.
Okay, because at this moment of time, I don't really know what could work well for you and your team. I don't have any answers, and I don't want to jump into any conclusions. I usually initiate this kind of cooperation with phase which I call discovery phase. So we can really discover what your challenges, true challenges are, and what can I offer, or even sometimes during this discovery phase, we might learn that I'm not the best person and I cannot offer anything at the time for you. Okay, so this discovery phase might look differently. Okay, and as well, these are the options which I think of. However, I'm really open to you after listening to my options, maybe coming up with some ideas by yourself, and I'm happy to adjust. So one of the things before I even commit to working with a team is meeting with you before I will send you some questions regarding the team and important stakeholders. So people you feel I need to meet and talk to them as well. This meeting usually lasts about, like, I think 45 to 60 minutes. So we can really probe some of these areas. As well, if after this initial conversation, after answering this simple question, you think that I'm still a good fit and I, inspire you to think deeper about this team, we can organize one-on-one interviews with each of the team members. Yes, so we have
we don't have many resources. We're very limited in resources. So I don't think that you will be able to do that individual. Will you still be able to do the team coaching without interviewing everyone?
I generally would say no to not having any discovery phase. Discovery phase is an important part because it's almost like me as a doctor just seeing a video call of a patient and assuming that this person is sick of that and giving them some kind of course of treatment, which is not really applicable to them without any tests. However, I understand that you don't want to do interviews.
No, so, not that I don't want to, but I don't have the resources, like.
Okay, understand. We're not talking about resources yet. Okay, so
just for you to know that our budget is limited. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely we need to, of course, financial aspect of that is important as well. However, we need to think how to discover what's really going on and how to, find something which will be useful for you and your team. So interviewing is one of the things. We can as well try to do it using questionnaire, online questionnaire. I use this tool sometimes.
That sounds great.
However, great. Damian, that requires work on your side as well.
I'm happy to okay. That's important to me. Okay, let's stop here.
Okay.
Let's hear. We're going to keep working with this case next time. Okay, we're just starting today.
Yeah.
We're starting with the contracting. So here we have some questions in the chat room. We want to look at the questions or comments.
So the decision. I want to say, okay, that's Sylvia. How do you heard from local understanders about the issue? Okay, what could be possible alternative? I've got two questions only from Gerardo and from Anushli.
What do you hear from the local? Okay. Anybody else have any questions you would ask? Let's hear from other people. Yes, Sylvia.
I'm just wondering, who else feels the same way, or has this been discussed before, this kind of issue?
Yeah. Okay. Are there stakeholders? What are the stakeholders that the client is not mentioning? Great place to go. What else? What will you ask? Elisa?
Yeah, I guess before we get in too far, I would ask probably the budget a little bit, because if it's not something that you can really do a full team coaching experience with, that might be good to know and see what you could do to add some value for it.
Sometimes people tell you they don't have the budget, and then later they found it somewhere.
Yeah, they do. To be honest, I don't like talking about money from the very beginning. I want to explore different options because my lesson is similar to you, Damian. Yeah, people never have budget, but then they think, oh, it's going to be useful, so let's do this. Yeah. So no, I don't like talking about money from the day one. However, I'm like, if this conversation happens, but probably happens after this one, when we think about different options. And as well, one thing which I would really be strict about, that Damian is not making decision while we're talking. We're just exploring the options, and he goes to the team and discusses it with the team and sponsors what is important as well.
So you go right to the assessment, this discovery right away before even knowing any issue. Like Sita gave pretty much no detail really about
But
besides
discovery
matter.
is, Melissa, discovery is about finding the issue for me.
Yeah, but that's like a paid thing that you're doing. I understand, like you're trying to, like you just go right into the trying to get a contract or work to do discovery before really looking into it, because that'll start the engagement. You'll have some work and you're already engaged with them, and then you can move on and do whatever else is needed within the team coaching.
I generally think
ahead.
that, yeah, I would invest a lot of time in talking to Damian than to talking to some other stakeholders, and it will be discovery. Yes, so it's better to be very open from the beginning, and as well, very personal, yeah, to be open from the very beginning about what is discovery phase. And after discovery phase, we can make an informed choice. Is it team coaching, individual coaching, team building, facilitation, or whatever? Because if I'm not honest, I can even organize the training here about my failures as a team coach. I had a lot of failed processes because I didn't do the good discovery phase. Because I assumed that what leader brings is the case, and I just based everything on the conversation, and I agreed to the things which then I delivered and really badly. Maybe I shouldn't say it aloud, but I have a lot of failures.
Sometimes with individual coaching, even my corporate coaching, you could have one conversation and then I could do a good proposal for that. And then if we have to recontract, but you're doing most of the assessment, you know, with the process, getting paid, and then from there you figure out what's best. You know,
yeah, some of the options we haven't even discussed. I would definitely ask Damian, have you done any 360, for example, as an organization? It could give us a lot of data.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, so we start from the worst case, like interviewing, then questionnaires, then kickoff session, then, or maybe you have some, already you've done some 360, or you work with some consultant before who did you some
and by the way, here, Melissa, everyone needs to develop your own practice. You know, you listen and learn from different people. So there is not only one way to do this. So I want everybody to learn from different people here, so you can learn best practice from everybody, and then you choose your own. But I don't want you to do what I do or what Inga is doing, but it's great to listen and learn about how different people are doing that. And what is interesting, what Inga is saying also applies to individual coaching. Sometimes you want to build that relationship even before you talk about money. It's like spend time in building the relationship, because you are building a relationship with your client too. And I know that sometimes people go too fast to talk about that, and sometimes it's wiser to wait and build the relationship. And when the relationship is there, then we have that conversation. I think that's a valid point in building the relationship. Antonio, and we need to start wrapping up.
As a matter of fact, I think you already answered what I have, what I'm going to say. So I won't consume any time.
Okay, great. Okay, we need to start wrapping up. We're going to, Inga, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Antonio, go ahead.
May I please ask you something?
Yes.
Is it possible for you to send us the links of the videos you showed us?
Yes, definitely.
I would really like to review them.
Yes, both of them are pretty good. And I'm going to do something else. Right now, I am going to share with you in the chat room everything, because when you want something from me, ask me and I will give it to you in the moment, and you will have it for sure.
Thank you.
You know, that's a good advice for everybody. Like, if you want anything from me, ask me and I will do it in the moment. Yes, Elena.
Anushli has been raising her hand for some time now.
I didn't see Anushli. Where is Anushli?
Yeah, thanks, Inga. Yeah, maybe because my video is switched off, that Damian is unable to see me. So the quick thought that came to me when Damian was saying that I don't have the time, resources, what came to me was doing a psychological online assessment, psychological safety online assessment, a survey or something like that. Sending the survey, getting the results, then talking with the facts. So that can be helpful to get a yes from your client to proceed. That's number one. And number two is asking, where is the need coming from? Who wants to do the team coaching for these people? Is it your need, or is it from the CEO? Is it from HR? Who's bringing the need? And I think hearing out from them why they want to do this is very important. Those are the two things I want to add on.
Thank you, Anushli. Thank you for that. That's interesting. We need to start wrapping up. In the chat room, I pasted a few videos that I checked to prepare for today. So there you have a few videos if you want to entertain yourself. So there are the two that I share with you.
For safe and legal exit to your timeshare, Newton Group combines 15 years.
Okay, Elena.
Just one question. How did you felt with how did you feel with the questions of Inga, with the conversation with Inga?
I felt that she was being effective in building the relationship with me. So I like it. I think that she was effective in building that relationship, in being curious, being interested, asking questions. So I think that she was going in a very good direction. Do you have any question, Elena? Would you have done something different? Would you?
Yeah. If it was with me, if I was in your role, I desire that Inga speaks more slowly with a different, a different music. Because
but these are styles. But these are styles. So that's Inga's style, like my style. We are really fast. So
yeah, you are very
style
fast.
work well for me because I am on the time, like, very fast.
Both of you very fast.
Right, you're right, Elena, for reminding me that. Yeah, but that's a great lesson every time that I speak too fast. So thank you for reminding me that.
And it's interesting because I didn't even realize it. Because that's my rhythm. Okay, we need to start wrapping up. Next time we're going to keep playing with this, but somebody else is going to be interviewing me. Okay, so this time was Inga, next time will be somebody else, and we are going to be playing and learning from this experience, okay, about moving from contract to design, to look at building the psychological safety. So we're going to keep working on the topic. So I hope we're going to, the program is going to be Tuesday mornings. So we're going to be doing it on Tuesday mornings, but in May, I am going to be in Buenos Aires. I'm going to Buenos Aires for 3 weeks. So probably when I'm going to be in Buenos Aires, I'm going to try to avoid doing any extra activities. So probably I would move this session to the end of May. So the next session will be the last Tuesday of May. Okay, so you may want to, I will be sending you an invitation in my newsletter, but if you want to schedule it right now, you want to save the date. If you look in May, at the end of May will be May 24th, is the last Tuesday. We are going to start on June 7th, the program. And on that Tuesday, we instead of starting at 8, we're going to start at 10 because I have another class before. So if you want to put it in, you want to be 18 hours, I think, for you in Portugal, going to be 10 my time, 18 hours for you, 8 hours different to Portugal. So it's going to be 6 p.m. And we're going to do for 90 minutes. We're going to keep exploring and working on psychological safety. So thanks everybody for coming. And if anybody is interested or know anybody who may be interested in the certification, let me know so I can share the information. As I said briefly, is 60 hours, maybe from the people who are here. I think that Jonas, you have not done the training, something you may be interested in doing. Is going to be every other Tuesday morning from 8 to 12 Pacific Standard Time. Antonio, you are interested in that too. And Elena, you were thinking about that too. So it's going to be every other Tuesday from 8 to 12. So it will be 8, as you know, is 4 to 8 p.m. in Portugal. And we are going to be exploring the ICF core competencies. So the content is similar to the pilot. We are going to add more books, more readings. We are going to include practice. So everybody's going to be practicing team coaching. And also Silvia, so maybe we can get somebody from the certification to work with you like part of their certification. So let's talk about that, because the people who are going to be coming to the program are going to receive supervision too. So they are going to be supervised. So I think that we may talk to make that very effective. Okay. So the idea is that we are going to be offering supervision to the team coaches in this program. They're going to be practicing, and they're going to have individual supervision on their team coaching experience. So it's going to be a robust program much more than the pilot. So looking forward to seeing everybody at the end of May. And there are other activities if you want to join next month. We have the conference coming up at the end of April. If you are not aware of that, the coaching conference, coaching supervision conference, but it's open to anybody who wants to join. So if you didn't sign up yet, you still can do it. There is the last 3 days of April, 28, 29, and 30, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And it's for supervisors, but the topics apply to coaches. So it's a really great learning experience and opportunity. So if you want to know more about that, let me know. Everybody else, great seeing you. I'm going to stop recording.